Hari Om everybody, it's 10 o'clock, let's get started. Om Anana Ganapati Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrunvannuti Visri Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajeभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्यवत् ॐ गणेशाय नमः ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं यस्य सन्निधिमात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम्. Hari Om everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes on Viveka Choodamani. Let us get started with our Mangala Charana Shloka. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. In the last several classes, we have been exploring the answers that Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji laid out to the 7 profound questions that the student had asked in verse number 49. Let us chant that first. Ko nama bandhah kathamesha agatah katam pratisthasya katam vimokshah ko savanatma paramah ka atma tayor vivekah kathametaduchyatam. First we saw the answer to the 5th question, what is anatma? Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji said, all of this body, and this summarizing, because there are few newcomers, all of the body, organs of perception, jnanendriyas, organs of action, karmendriyas, prana, mana, buddhi, up to the unmanifest universe are all anatma, not self. They belong to the category of asat, unreal. Then we saw answer to question number 6. Paramaha ka Atma. What is the nature of this Atma? We saw several pointers to the nature of Atma. Although in our reference shlokas, in Viveka Choodamani, several reference mantras from the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, texts like Atma Bodha, Upadesha Sara, Druk Drushya Viveka, all these told me you are Nitya Buddha Shuddha Mukta Atma. You are eternal, you are pure, you are ever liberated. But our experience is not such. We say, I feel very limited, I feel finite. That led us to explore the first question asked by the student, Ko nama bandha? What is this bondage? Vedanta says we feel 3 types of limitations. Limited due to space, desha, limited due to time, kala paricheda, limitations due to objects, beings, etc., vastu paricheda. I also see other Vedas, differences. Sajatiya Veda, I see differences within my own species. I see the differences with other species. Vijatiya Veda. Then I see differences within myself, different organs. Swagata Veda. We call this in Vedanta as Parichinnatva. What is the result of this mistaken notion of the unlimited self as the limited individual ego? Because of this illusory entity, ahankara, I give reality to the world outside. I depend on it for my happiness. This notional identity, this delusional identity is called bandhana, bondage in Vedanta. This gets strengthened by 2 factors. Anatmani Atma Buddhi. This tadatmya, it is a notion that this anatma is Atma. Secondly, it gets strengthened by Jagati Satyatva Buddhi. The world and its objects, they are real, they are permanent. These are the 2 factors. So we saw in the last class that avidya or ajnana is the primary cause, is the root cause of bandhana, bondage. So we saw that in Atma Bodha, we had seen this already. What is that? Parichinna iva agnanat tannashe sati kevalaha. We saw that in Drukdrishya Viveka also, that agnana or ignorance is a notion. Bhranti janya tadatya. It can only be rediscovered by right knowledge. And only then this ajnana or avidya is removed. So we will quickly recap some of the verses since we had a break. अत्रानात्मन्यहमिति मतिर्बन्ध येषोऽस्य पुंसः प्राप्तो ज्ञानाज्जननमरणक्लेशसम्पातहेतुः येनैवायं वपुरिदमसत्सत्यमित्यात्मबुद्ध्या पुष्यत्युक्ष्यत्यवति विषयैः तन्तुभिः कोशकृद्वत्. 5 points we saw in this verse. atra atmani aham iti matir bandha eshosya pumsaha. Identifying the self with the not self, number one. Number two, prapto agnana, this mistaken identity with the not self due to agnana or avidya. Bondage arising from that ignorance of my true nature. I am seeing happiness outside. So what does this do? Janana marana klesha sampata hetu. This brings in the miseries of birth and death, that perpetual cycle, slowly leading to bondage. So we are bound like tantubihi kosha krudvat. So this silkworm, which gets caught up in its own cocoon, like that. Okay? Then, in 138, verse number 138, Atasmin tadbuddhif prabhavati vimudhasya tamasa viveka bhavadvai spurati bhujage rajjudishana tato nartavrato nipatati samadhaturadikaha ततो यो सद्ग्राहः सहि भवति बन्धः शृणु सखे. In this verse, he provided some more clarity as to who commits this mistake. Atasmin tadbuddhihi. Mistaking a thing for what it is not, just like the classic example of Vedanta that I have shared with the class many times, Bhujage Rajju Dishana, mistaking a piece of rope to be a snake, Prabhavati Vimudhasya Tamasa, meaning the one who is overpowered by ignorance, Mudha, foolish fellow, he always mistakes for what it is not. Why? Viveka Abhava, lack of enquiry. What follows that? Tato anarthavrato nipatati samadhaturadikaha. Through that wrong notion, great dangers overtake him. Anartha parampara, avidya, kama, followed by karma. He gets on the sari go around. We all have been on that. This is the sari go around. What happens? Tato yo asatgraha sahi bhavati bandha. Taking this unreal to be real. Asatgraha. We hold on to this unreal and become bound. Then we saw the answer to question number 2 asked by the student. Katham esha agataha. Where has this bondage come from? Let's see. खण्डनित्याद्वयबोधशक्त्या स्फुरन्तमात्मान अनन्तवैभवम् समावृणोत्यावृतिशक्तिरेष तमोमयी राहुरिवार्कबिम्बम्. बोधशक्त्या Spurantamatmanamanantavaibhavam. This pure knowledge, this pure consciousness, it is akhanda, indivisible. unbroken, Nitya, eternal, Advaya, non-dual, one without the second. But because of this veiling power, this Avarana Shakti, the projecting power of Maya, the Vikshepa Shakti, these two together bring about this bondage. The veiling power is Samavrunotyavruti Shakti Resha. The Avarana Shakti, what it does? It hides the truth. It is the nature of ignorance, Tamomaya, Rahu Rivarka Bimbam. As though the bright sun is eaten up by that dark demon, Rahu, during the eclipse, like that. Then in 140, verse number 140, for those who are following in the book, Hiro bhute swatmanyamalatar tejovati puman anatmanam mohat ahamiti shariram kalayati ततः कामक्रोध प्रभृतिभिरमुं बन्धनगुणैः परं विक्षेपाख्या रजसवुरुशक्तिर्व्यथयति. Hiro bhute swatmani, our true nature first gets concealed. What is our true nature? Amalatara Tejovati. Pure splendor, pure consciousness. Once it is covered, the ignorant man, what he does? He identifies with the body. That's what Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is outlining. Where is this problem coming from? Atma anatmanam mohat ahamiti shariram kalayati. The Rajoguna has this projecting power. Tataha, what happens after that? Kama Krodha Prabhuti Biramum Bandhana Gunaihi. The projecting brings Vikshepakya Rajasa Vuru Shaktir Vyatayati. It brings in the six enemies Shad Ripu, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, delusion, pride, jealousy, all these. What happens when it comes? Atma vihina mudaha te pachyante naraka nigudaha. It becomes hell on earth. Then he gets sucked into this ocean of samsara. And then you got the references from Bhagavad Gita, the ladder of fall, 2-62 and 63, and the ladder of antidote is ladder of success from Bhajagovindam. So in this ocean that he is describing is full of sharks and crocodiles and all that. Mahamohagraha grasana galitatma vagamano Dhiyo nanavastham swayamabhinayam stadgunataya apare samsare vishaya vishapure jalanidhau nimajjonmajjayam bhramati kumati kutsitagatihi. Kumati, this man with this perverted intellect, this extroverted mind and intellect, what happens to him? It leads to kutsita gatihi, a miserable fate. Maha moha graha grasana galitatmava gamanaha. As though it is swallowed by this shark or this crocodile, its name is Maha Moha, utter ignorance. He takes anatma to be atma and then begins this various experiences, various states of this intellect. Dhiyo nanavastham swayam abhinayam stadgunataya. Then he is made to play so many roles in this society by the power of these gunas, because he is clutched by this big crocodile of delusion, Mahamoha, Mahamoha Graha. Then he drifts up and down in this samsara, in this boundless ocean of samsara. Apare samsare vishaya visha pure jalanidam. Nimajjonmajjayam bhramati. He looks around this vast ocean of samsara. It is shoreless. It is boundless. Apara. And this ocean is filled with poison, vishaya, visha pure, for this sensory infatuation. Look at this power. This is the poetic description that Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is bringing of this miserable sorry go around. In such an ocean, he is like a rudderless boat, drowning sometimes, rising sometimes, gasping for a little breath of fresh air. Nimajjonmajjayam bhramati. This is bondage. Then, in 144, we covered all this in detail last week and weeks before. एताभ्यामेव शक्तिभ्याम् बन्धः पुंसः समागतः याभ्याम् विमोहितो देहम् मत्वात्मानं भ्रमत्ययम्. Then because of the hold of these two powers of Maya, etabhyam eva shaktibhyam bandha pumsah sama agatah. He mistakes this body to be self. Yabhyam vimohito deham matvatmanam brahmatyayam. He becomes iha loka paraloka gami vyavaharika jiva. The transmigration, everybody, from body to body, from body to body, he becomes this intergalactic traveler. Meaning, from this world to the outer world and other worlds, taking different bodies. It's fairly clear. Then we saw this beautiful allegory last week that answered the third question of the student. How does this bondage continue to exist? How is that? Katam asya bandhasya pratishtitaha. How is this possible? Then he answered that in verse number 145. Bijam samsruti bhumijasya tu tamah dehatmadhiram kuro ragah pallavamambu karma tu vapuhu skando savashakika agranindraya samhatischa vishayaha pushpani dukkham palam nana karma samudbhavam bahuvidham bhoktatra jiva kagaha. We saw this elaborately in the last class, a famous allegory of samsara vriksha. the tree of samsara, this profound Vedanta coupled with beautiful poetry. This tree comes out of earth, bhumija, meaning it is born out of Mother Earth. So all our worldly life is compared to this tree, samsara vriksha. Its seed, bijam, is tamas, ignorance. What is the ignorance? Dehatma bhava. I am this body. That is the first shoot that comes out. Dehatmadi rankuraha. Then comes the attachment. Its fine leaves. Raga pallavam. All our selfish actions, all our self-centered activities, what do? They go on to fatten this tree. It's an example, okay? It's an allegory. Our body is like that trunk of that tree. Vapuhu skandaha. Desires are its leaves. Action, karma, is its water source. It feeds that water. Pranas are its branches. Sense organs are its twigs. Vishayaha pushpani. The sense objects are the flowers of this tree. And different types of actions bring about dukkam and palam. Nana karma samudbhavam bahuvidham bhoktatra jiva kagaha. This jivatma is the bird that kaga is bird that experiences everything. Bhoktatra jiva kagaha. This jiva experiences the fruits of this samsara vriksha. Some fruits are bitter, some fruits are sweet. So we saw this beautiful reference. This is actually direct reference from Mundaka Upanishad. Dva suparna sayuja sakaya samanam vruksham parishasva jate. There are two birds on this tree in that Upanishadic mantra. One on top sitting quietly, the Paramatma, and the other pecking the sweet and bitter fruits, and this is the Jivatma, flying from one fruit to the other fruit, meaning chasing these objects of enjoyment in the hope of getting a little bit of pleasure. And we also saw the beautiful reference last week from Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. Sri Bhagavanuvāca ūrdhvamūlamadashyākham ashvattham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavit adhaschordhvam prastutastasya shakhaha gunapravruddha vishayaprabalaha adhascha mulanyanusantatani karmanubandhini manushya-loke. We saw that same reference to this Ashwatha tree in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, taken in this metaphor to indicate what? That changing aspect of the world, the ever-changing aspect of the world. Secondly, vriksha, that this tree of samsara can be cut asunder with detachment. We always ask this question, when did all this start? All this karma, this and our journey, when did it all begin? And in 146, he says, Ajnana mulo yamanatma bandho नैसर्गिको नादिरनन्तईरितः जन्माप्यव्याधिजरादिदुःख प्रवाहपातं जनयत्यमुष्य. This bondage has come from ignorance. Agnana muloya anatma bandhu. It has come because of our spiritual blindness. Agnana. It is natural, naisargika. This bondage is anadi, beginningless. That's why in Vedanta we don't go in search of this. We just call it Mula Avidya. It brings this long train of miseries, birth, death, disease, Janma, Pyaya, Vyadi, Jaradi, Dukkha, Pravahapatam, Janayatya, Mushya. Is there an end to this bondage? What is the solution for this? And the same question the student had asked. Katam vimokshaha. How can I free myself from this bondage? So let's see what he says in verse number 47. 147. Nastrairna shastrairanileena vahnina. Nastrairna shastrairanileena vahnina. चेतुं न शक्यो न च कर्म कोटिभिः चेतुं न शक्यो न च कर्म कोटिभिः विवेक विज्ञान महासिना विना विवेक विज्ञान महासिना विना धातु प्रसादेन शितेन मंजुना धातु प्रसादेन शितेन मंजुना. Together. नास्त्रैर्न शस्त्रैरनिलेन वह्निना चेतुं न शक्यो न च कर्म कोटिभिः विवेक विज्ञान महासिना विना धातु प्रसादेन शितेन मंजुना. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says this bondage cannot be destroyed by weapons. Astra Shastra, both types of weapons, it is not possible, nor by the wind, not possible by fire. Nastrairna Shastrair Anilena Vahnina, not by doing millions of actions. Nacha Karma Kotibihi, because the bondage is in our mind. Bondage is delusional. It is notional bondage. So how can we destroy this with physical weapons? Not possible. See, water, it cleanses our body, our hands, legs, etc. But it cannot cleanse our mind. It cannot clean the impurities of the mind. Wind, fire. Anilena Vahnina. Wind and fire, they are considered natural powers for annihilation. Wind dries up everything in the creation, destroys them. Fire can burn up things and destroy them. Avidya or Agnana cannot be dried up or burnt down. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, how can we get out? We need the sword. This is not an ordinary forged metallic sword. Viveka Vijnana Maha Asi. With this sword, he says we can cut asunder this ignorance to be free from bondage. This sword is born out of knowledge derived from Viveka, discrimination. Viveka Vijnana Maha Asi. This Maha Khadga born out of Viveka. And very important point, sharpened by what? Dhatu Prasadena. By the grace of the Lord. Sharp sword. The way to understand this is, with the grace of the Lord and a purified mind and intellect, the sword of knowledge is developed. Sword of knowledge. And with this sharp sword, Shitena Manjuna, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, we can cut asunder this ignorance and become free. See, one thing that is emphasized here in this verse is a sharp sword, sharpness of the mind. Worldly sharpness is different. Is what? Cleverness. Chaturata. That is different. That is used to cheat people. That is not what we are talking about here. This sword of knowledge is a result of the pure mind. That is why we emphasize Chitta Shuddhi. I hope you caught that point. And a good Kathopanishad reference for this verse is Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atmasya Janto Nihito Guhayam Tamakratu Pashyati Vita Shokaha Dhatu Prasadat Mahimanamatmanah. Dhatu Prasadat Mahimanamatmanah. A man who is free from desires beholds the self through tranquility of his senses and his mind, becomes free from grief. And fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita reference, many Gnanagni, the references come. Tasmadagnana sambhutam krutstam gnanasinatmanah chitvainam samshayam yogam atishtottishta bharata. The sword of knowledge, Bhagavan Krishna says, Gnana Asi, can cut asunder the doubt of this, the cut asunder this ignorance residing in your heart and take refuge in that yoga, O Bharata. And main emphasis is Gnana. Remember that. Then moving on to one more verse on this topic. In verse number 148, Shruti Pramanai Kamate Swadharma. Shruti Pramanai Kamate Swadharma. निष्ठातयैवात्मविशुद्धिरस्य निष्ठातयैवात्मविशुद्धिरस्य श्रुतिप्रमाणैकमते स्वधर्म निष्ठातयैवात्मविशुद्धिरस्य विशुद्धबुद्धेः परमात्मवेदनम् विशुद्धबुद्धेः परमात्मवेदनम् येनैव संसारसमूलनाशः तेनैव संसारसमूलनाशः together श्रुतिप्रमाणैकमते स्वधर्म निष्ठातयैवात्मविशुद्धिरस्य विशुद्धबुद्धेः परमात्मवेदनम् तेनैव संसारसमूलनाशः. The one who is passionately devoted to the Shruti, Shastra, acquires that steadiness of in Swadharma. Shruti Pramanaika Mate Swadharma Nishta. This contributes to what? Purity of mind. Tayaivatma Vishuddhirasya. As our Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji always says, with purity comes clarity. Vishuddha Buddhehe Paramatma Vedanam. When the mind becomes pure, the knowledge of the Atman dawns on him, just like when the mirror is clean, free from dust and all the impurities, there is no struggle to see our own reflection. Therefore, this Chitta Shuddhi, we need this clean mirror, the clean mind. Tenaiva samsara samulanashaha. By that realization of the self, samsara with the roots and the shoots is destroyed. See, April flowers bring May flowers, but April also brings in a lot of weeds, right? If you just remove the shoots, first sprinkle, again it comes back up, right? You have to remove it with the roots, like that. This samsara with the root and its shoots is destroyed. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, Nanagnis sarva karmani basmasat kurute tatha. When we burn out that seed of ignorance in that fire of knowledge, Jnana Agni. Now, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, having given us these answers, now he begins to answer the seventh question of the student. Tayor Vivekaha Katham. How to differentiate between this Atma and Anatma, the self and the not self. This unholy wedlock between the matter and the spirit. This is Atma Anatma Viveka. Now, all of these classes, what have we done? We understood what is Anatma, what is the nature of Atma. But now, how do I differentiate what is Atma, what is Anatma? What is the methodology? So, in that, an elaborate, many shlokas of Pancha Kosha Viveka will come. with a little bit of introduction in the next class. We'll take it up in the next class. So please stay back for our interactive session after this. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. May all be happy, may all be healthy, may all see auspiciousness, may none suffer. Om, peace, peace, peace. With that, I'll open it up for our interactive session.